on WISN.
Big update on a big story we broke yesterday regarding Milwaukee Votes 2022. What Milwaukee's mayor describes as a public-private partnership to get out the presumably Democratic vote in the city's most heavily Democratic areas. I am Dan O'Donnell. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the program. It is a Wednesday. That means coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, we play Guess What's Racist. We will also break news about a Milwaukee high school refusing to tell parents if their students are identifying as a different gender while at school. And this appears to be a district-wide policy. I say appears because I don't have access to the Milwaukee Public School District's gender inclusion policy. Neither do you. It's only available on request. Why? We'll get into that coming up at about 10:35. If you'd like to join the show, 414-799-1130 is our AccuNet Mortgage talk and text line. You can reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. Find me on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. And you can watch the show streaming live on YouTube. Just search for The Dan O'Donnell Show there. Yesterday, we reported on Milwaukee Votes 2022, something that Milwaukee's Mayor Cavalier Johnson announced in a press conference on Monday. He said this was to be a public-private partnership that would help juice turnout in a city that voted about 80% Democrat in the 2020 presidential election. Now, this comes less than 2 years after the 5 most heavily Democratic cities in Wisconsin, including Milwaukee, accepted millions of dollars from Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, funneled through something called the Center for Tech and Civic Life, that essentially facilitated a takeover of election administration in those 5 cities. Now, it seems Milwaukee is doing the exact same thing. As he announced on Monday,
we're doing more, and I'm embracing outreach and engagement through what we're calling Milwaukee Votes 2022. As a part of that, you'll soon see new website widget on many Milwaukee.gov website pages.
And that will direct people to the Milwaukee Votes initiative. So what exactly is it? It's a voter turnout drive.
Milwaukee Votes 2022 will also have door-to-door canvassing that'll be underway, funded by private sector. Dozens of canvassers will be face-to-face with eligible voters, encouraging them to exercise their right to vote for the November election.
Now, within just a couple of hours, the mayor's office was in full spin mode, claiming the mayor didn't really say what he very obviously and very clearly said. Jeff Fleming, the mayor's spokesman, tells Fox 6 News, who initially reported on this news conference, quote, "The city is neither receiving nor providing any funds related to the work of Milwaukee Votes 2022. The group is privately funded, not-for-profit, and nonpartisan. The association is limited to the mayor voicing support for the work." Well, according to the mayor himself during that press conference, this isn't true.
We're doing more, and I'm embracing outreach and engagement through what we're calling Milwaukee Votes 2022. As a part of that, you'll soon see new website widget on many Milwaukee.gov website pages.
That widget, that link to the Milwaukee Votes initiative, is a valuable allocation of city resources. It gives Milwaukee Votes 2022 a high-profile, high-traffic place in the city's digital space, and it also serves as the city's official endorsement. Would the city of Milwaukee ever link to, say, the Dan O'Donnell Show webpage to direct people there for voter information? Of course not, because that would be considered partisan. That would be considered something that would be inappropriate. I am privately funded. I am not something that the city would endorse. But Milwaukee Votes 2022, with its private voter drive, its door-to-door canvassing, which essentially amounts to someone coming to the door and saying, hey, I noticed you've got an absentee ballot that you didn't return. How'd you like some help filling it out? Or, hey, I noticed you haven't yet registered to vote. How about we register you right here? This indicates a deep level of coordination. The mere fact that this would be on multiple web pages from the city of Milwaukee, it indicates a deep level of coordination and correlation between the city and the Get Out the Vote effort. Now, I pressed Fleming yesterday in a series of emails about who exactly was funding this effort. And rather bizarrely, he said he had no idea. He forwarded me to GPS Impact's Melissa Baldoff, who is apparently coordinating this effort and attended Johnson's press conference on Monday. So the city of Milwaukee directed all questions to Baldoff. Now, according to its website, and he provided for me an email address for Melissa Baldoff that was at gpsimpact.com. Now, according to its website, GPS Impact is a full-service political communications and strategy agency that, quote, has helped Democrats, progressive candidates, and initiatives and elected officials win in red states, including Kansas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Ohio. It touts its experience in running voter registration and handling ballot requesters. According to the website OpenSecrets.com, it was even involved in the Wisconsin Senate race. The state treasurer, in fact, paid more than $1 million to GPS Impact to help her campaign. So this is clearly a Democrat strategy operation, and Melissa Baldoff, one of its employees, who is referred using the GPS Impact email, is the point person on this. Now, she's a longtime Democrat political operative. She worked for the state Democratic Party. She worked as Governor Evers' spokesperson. She worked for former county executive Chris Abley before joining GPS Impact last year. She said in an email to me, she is not working on the Milwaukee Votes 2022 initiative in her official capacity with GPS Impact, but is rather just informally advising some of the nonprofits involved. In that email, she says, neither I nor GPS Impact are working for the city of Milwaukee, receiving taxpayer dollars from the city of Milwaukee, or running a canvass in Milwaukee. Now, if you read between the lines a little bit, what is she saying? GPS Impact is not working for the city of Milwaukee. GPS Impact is not running the canvass. She says she's also not receiving any taxpayer dollars from the city of Milwaukee. But Mayor Johnson already said that the level of support for Milwaukee Votes 2022 isn't necessarily financial. It's in the city's support giving the digital space and obviously being heavily promoted by the mayor, who called a press conference to announce what it was that was going on here. So to recap all of this, just so we're all clear, Johnson holds a press conference in which he announces a public-private partnership and repeatedly refers to the Milwaukee Votes initiative as we. We are doing this. He announces a voter drive that will be featured on official city web pages, but according to his office, he somehow misspoke and didn't realize that the city has absolutely nothing to do with Milwaukee Votes 2022. And somehow, the Democrat strategist who works for a Democrat strategy firm that specializes in voter drives and who attended Johnson's press conference and who was referred to me as the point of contact for Milwaukee Votes 2022 has nothing to do with Milwaukee's voter drive. And no one can say for certain who exactly is paying for all this. Got all that? It defies both common sense and recent history to believe the city of Milwaukee has nothing to do with this. Ahead of the 2020 presidential election, the city of Milwaukee accepted Zuckerberg's grant money and allowed the partisan Center for Tech and Civic Life unprecedented access to the city's voter database. Emails revealed that the group's Wisconsin lead, a man by the name of Michael Spitzer Rubenstein, even asked the director of the Milwaukee Election Commission, Claire Woodall-Vaugh, to provide him with access to the city's voter database. This is how deeply involved this privately funded liberal organization was in administration of elections in Milwaukee. It's nowhere near the takeover that happened in Green Bay that broke at least 5 election laws by my count. But Spitzer Rubenstein was so forward and so deeply embedded in the city's election operation, they actually asked Woodall-Vaugh, hey, instead of you just printing out every day and providing me with access as to who has filled out an absentee ballot, who's returned their absentee ballot, and who hasn't, the Center for Tech and Civic Life, the National Vote at Home Institute, were obviously conducting a pretty massive ballot harvesting operation that was being facilitated with information provided directly by the city's elections commission. Woodall-Vaugh, to her credit, says, I really don't feel comfortable having a non-staff member involved in the function of our voter database. Still, she continued to provide him with updates, and Rubenstein actually responded saying, never mind, we found a way to access what we needed through a third party. That was never explained, how exactly they were able to access all of this information. Now, nothing in Wisconsin law allows for this. The acceptance of private money to run elections may even run afoul of Wisconsin statute prohibiting election bribery. Get out the vote efforts have always been and should always be partisan efforts. Campaigns, political parties, they spend small fortunes on get out the vote, on trying to target voters and get them to the polls. The municipality that is running the election should have no role in doing this. Because even if the city of Milwaukee were to do this just straight across the board, and folks, this is going to be targeted at areas that typically have low voter participation rates, which tend to be, coincidentally enough, far more heavily Democratic areas of the city. Even if this was spread, these resources and this effort was spread evenly across the city, by virtue of the fact that Milwaukee is an 80% Democrat city, this will necessarily boost Democrat turnout. Now, Republicans are not standing for this. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos joined Speaker Pro Tem Tyler August, Assistant Majority Leader Kevin Peterson, and the chairman of the Wisconsin Election Commission, Don Millis, appointed earlier this year by Vos to the commission. They put out a statement saying, we are demanding that the city of Milwaukee immediately cease assisting a privately funded liberal group in their efforts to only engage with and turn out certain voters. The city of Milwaukee's promotion and coordination of potentially illegal activities under the guise of canvassing is why Wisconsin voters have lost confidence in our elections. It is inappropriate for any municipality to support a get out the vote campaign. Now, I am told that the Republican Party, the Assembly Speaker, and a number of different entities and campaigns are exploring their legal options with respect to this. Meanwhile, the chair of the Assembly Committee on Campaigns and Elections, Representative Janelle Branchin, has launched an investigation into this activity, and she's already filed multiple open records requests seeking further information on the level of coordination between the city of Milwaukee and the groups associated with Milwaukee Votes 2022. She said, there's no question that third-party partisan money continues to be used in collusion with election officials in heavily Democrat areas to help Democrat candidates win elections. It's time we get to the bottom of this unethical and illegal activity. It most certainly is. Because the city of Milwaukee is certainly not volunteering any information about the program that its mayor seemed so proud of just a couple of days ago. Big problems in the city of Milwaukee, extreme violence yet again. We'll get into that coming up next.
This is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Reach Dan anytime on the AccuNet Mortgage Talk and Text line at 414-799-1130.
The Dan O'Donnell Cruise is going to Alaska. Join me next summer as we discover Anchorage, Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and Vancouver. Plus, scenic cruising in Hubbard Glacier and the Inside Passage will leave you smiling ear to ear. Couples, families, singles, you're all welcome. We're going to have a blast on the Celebrity Millennium where there's literally something for everyone. Find out more at cruise-tour.com. That's cruise-tour.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes, so come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call now, 414-545-3338. Visit the Good Feet Store across from Mayfair Mall in the northwest corner of Center and Mayfair Road, or in Appleton across from Fox River Mall.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit our website at goodfeetmilwaukee.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
During this interruption, let's talk about disruption. Emerging new channels, cookieless media. Marketers, are you missing out on one of the most engaged audiences in today's new open web? With Viant's programmatic software Adelphic, stay in tune with digital audio, stream the future on CTV, and level up with in-game, so you can see an average 3 times return on ad spend, maybe even on this very program next time. Viant, built for the new open web. Built for now. Visit ViantNow.com to learn more.
Our friends at Henry Repeating Arms are now offering a line of Tribute Edition rifles to honor those who serve our great nation, including active military, veterans, law enforcement, and sheriffs and firefighters and EMS, and so many more. These tribute rifles are embellished with high-end engraving and artwork. Look, I've never seen anything like it in a firearm, and I'm a collector. They are truly a collector's edition, and you can proudly display on your wall or give away as a gift. They're all made in America. It's a family-owned business of true patriots. Their motto is made in America or not made at all. And they're all backed by their lifetime warranty to protect you and future generations. I cannot say enough to rave about Henry Repeating Arms. Just check out their website, Henry USA. You start there. You'll get a free catalog. They'll also give you free decals and a list of dealers where you live. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, decals, list of dealers where you live. You won't regret it. I love henryusa.com.
Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
And I'm very heartened to hear that the Republican Party and Republican leaders in Wisconsin appear to be taking these sorts of shenanigans in the city of Milwaukee, which, by the way, you can read all about in my latest column at the McIver Institute, Milwaukee's electioneering mess. The story we broke that GPS Impact, a firm that right on its front page of its website advertises itself as a Democratic strategy firm. The point person for this Milwaukee Votes 2022 initiative is a longtime Democrat strategist. She's also, I believe, a Village of Shorewood trustee, but has been involved in Democrat politics for pretty much her entire life. She's informally advising these groups in their efforts. Now, why would all of these groups, for a nonpartisan get out the vote drive? They're just trying to boost turnout. You see, Dan, what is it about you Republicans? You don't want people voting. Why is it you want to suppress the vote? These are just good people who are trying to make sure as many folks vote as possible. No, they're going to a partisan Democrat who works for a partisan Democrat firm to work on this effort because they want Democrats to turn up. Not Republicans. They want to get as many Democrats to the polls as possible. Midterm elections, almost more than presidential elections, are about getting out the base. They're not necessarily about convincing the great squishy middle of this country, because the middle is far less politically active and therefore far less likely to vote in midterm elections than they are in presidential races, hence why the presidential race has so many more people turning out than the congressional midterms. They know that they need massive turnout amongst Democrats to combat the enthusiasm gap, which isn't as big as it was back in, say, January, but is still there for Republicans. Republicans can't wait to vote. They are pumped up. They are jazzed. They are ready. Democrats are looking for anything. They've manufactured this issue with Donald Trump stealing nuclear secrets and storing them at Mar-a-Lago. And oh, by the way, did you see the latest revelation from John Durham looking into the Russia collusion investigation? Igor Danchenko, who is the primary source for Christopher Steele's dirty Trump dossier, he was an FBI informant. The FBI paid him while he was lying to Christopher Steele about Donald Trump in the dossier that formed the basis for the Russia collusion investigation. What that means is that the FBI was paying for dirt on Donald Trump that was first compiled in an opposition research form by Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, then presented as actual research when the FBI, it was paying Danchenko, so it knows this guy is all wet. It's relying on Danchenko's word to get a FISA surveillance warrant against a Trump campaign operative by the name of Carter Page. Then the investigation, even though pretty much everyone involved knows it's nonsense. In fact, FBI Director James Comey even presented the dossier to Trump in January of 2021, right before he was sworn in, right before he was inaugurated, and said, look, Mr. President, this is why you need us. This is why you need the intelligence community, because this is an example of the phony stuff that you're going to see. Well, that allowed BuzzFeed News to publish the dossier in its entirety, and there was a media feeding frenzy. And that was the point. The FBI knew there was never going to be criminal charges against Donald Trump because it knew very early on that there was no coordination between Trump and the Russians. And the Russian effort to rig the election essentially amounted to taking out Facebook ads to try to sow the seeds of discontent. Incidentally, they weren't just promoting Trump. What they were trying to do is sow discord in American unity. In fact, one of the biggest anti-Trump rallies the Saturday after the 2016 election in New York City was organized by Russian trolls, and a bunch of liberals showed up. Every time that there was an indictment in the Trump-Russia collusion thing, the special counsel's office, Robert Mueller's office, made it clear no Americans were aware of what the Russians were doing. Yet there were still leaks coming out almost daily, almost hourly. I think we forget in 2017 and 2018 how consumed the media was with the Trump-Russia collusion scandal. And as soon as that disappears, we move on to the Trump-Ukraine scandal, the inappropriate phone call where he was pressuring the new president, Volodymyr Zelensky, to investigate Biden for what we now know was actual Biden family corruption in Ukraine. And now they're back at it. The same intelligence community apparently has been issuing subpoenas and taking the phones of pretty much everyone involved in Trump's reelection campaign. Do you realize they even took the phone of the My Pillow guy at a Hardee's restaurant last night? Mike Lindell went on whatever social media he's still allowed to be on to say, they took my phone. They FBI agents just seized my phone. This is the phone I use to conduct all my business for the My Pillow company and the various other smaller businesses that he runs. Same people doing nothing with respect to the classified documents or any of these investigations until the exact moment that they need to juice Democrat turnout by turning this election into a referendum against Donald Trump. And by the way, while we're there, Dave, do you have that cut Alex Wagner? Did you put that in? Alex Wagner saying it's almost like Trump is still president. Yeah, you've got that? Okay, this is, I'm throwing Dave a curveball here, but we actually had our favorite Circleback press secretary, Jen Psaki, made her debut on MSNBC last night. But the real takeaway here was Alex Wagner, who's an MSNBC hostess and commentator, sort of giving the game up. She said, you know, guys, it's almost like, you know what? Trump is still president. Oh, we don't have that. Don't worry about it, Dave. Don't worry about it. He says he'll find it. He didn't put the cut in like I asked him to. That's all right. Don't worry about it. But she said it's almost like Trump is still president. It's almost like with all of the focus that we're putting on Trump, it's almost like he's still the guy in charge. There's a reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, because they don't want this to be a referendum on Joe Biden. They can't have this be a referendum on Joe Biden. Coming up in the next hour, we'll recap the surreal moment that was the Biden administration taking a victory lap, actually celebrating the Inflation Reduction Act just hours after a disastrous inflation report. That inflation report was so bad, the stock market tanked so quickly and so sharply that inflation just reemerged as the issue. But MSNBC, of course, is focused on Donald Trump. Coming up next, violence in Milwaukee, and a Milwaukee public school, a high school, won't tell you if your kid is transitioning or identifying as a different gender.
Dan anytime on the AccuNet Mortgage Talk and Text line at 414-799-1130. The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Do you feel safe? Across Wisconsin, crime is spiraling out of control. Yet Mandela Barnes supports radical policies like eliminating cash bail, releasing accused criminals free into our communities before trial, even as we face shootings, robberies, carjackings, violent attacks on our police. Wisconsin had more than 300 murders last year alone. Yet Barnes has even supported defunding the police. That's easy for him to say. He's got his own taxpayer-funded security. Mandela Barnes doesn't get it. His reckless policies make our communities less safe, putting all of us at risk. Barnes is defending the criminals, not us. Reject Mandela Barnes for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell joined by the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, of course, the focus is on the CPI report. But Dave, really turns to what does the Fed do as a result?
That's exactly right. So that meeting on September 21st, when they will raise rates, just really a question of how much. Will it be 50 basis points, 75, or even 100 basis points? And when they raise rates, what do they say about it? Do they say post that meeting that we will become data dependent going forward to see how the inflation starts to react? Because raising rates clearly has an impact on the economy. Anecdotally, Dan, you can already see it in the real estate market, where real estate markets are starting to shift already. So there is an effect, and it is a lagging effect. And then the next meeting after that would be right in front of the election. So will they raise rates right before an election? These are a lot of questions that will have to be answered over the next 60 days. It will be interesting, and it will have a dramatic effect on how you should invest going forward. We think that you should work with a financial advisor that is fee only. Go to our website, annexwealth.com, and find that Know the Difference checklist and go down one by one, compare whom you're with today versus Annex Wealth Management.
And make sure that you're working with a fee-only fiduciary who's working with and for you. As Dave said, the best way to do that is with a free wealth metric. Think of it as a portfolio review at Annex Wealth. Of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Tommy Mello here, owner of A1 Garage Doors. Call A1 Garage Doors for all your garage door needs, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
If you're in the market for windows or a patio door, choose Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Replacement Windows, installed by Callan's skilled craftsmen. Infinity Fiberglass windows and patio doors incorporate the details of traditional wood, but will not rot. Are 8 times stronger than vinyl. Combine easy cleaning features and effortless operation. Plus, allow more light into your home. Receive $200 off each installed Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Replacement window and $500 off each installed patio door. Plus 18 months no interest financing. Experience indoor-outdoor living with a new patio door and have the peace of mind knowing that when you want spring air to freshen your home, your windows will open and stay open. Callan provides a worry-free experience, professional installation, and a built-for-life guarantee. Call Callan at 414-529-5509 or visit 8timesstronger.com for instant savings and no interest financing.
Call Callan, call Callan. We put the wow in home remodeling.
Thank you, WISN listeners, for trusting your car repairs to Engine and Transmission Exchange. ETE has 2 locations with A-plus ratings from the Better Business Bureau. One is on South 27th Street in Milwaukee, the other on West Avenue in Waukesha, and they work on any make or any model. See enginetrans.com for details. Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Sunday, it's the Packers and Bears at Lambeau.
Do you actually relish in the fact that you beat the Bears the way you do every single year?
Yes. Game day coverage begins with Doug Russell at noon on Milwaukee's home for the Packers. 97.3 The Game.
All right, here it is. MSNBC's Alex Wagner saying, yeah, it's like Trump is still president. We're covering him as though he's the leader of the country.
It's almost like a recreation of the weather patterns when Trump was president, right? Vast numbers of Americans feel like basic freedoms are being infringed upon. And oh, by the way, Donald Trump is still in some ways, he's not the president of the United States. In his mind, he may be. But in terms of his dominance over the news cycle, the multiple swirling investigations have made him a figurehead in the Republican Party and in national politics.
Just a stunning admission there. Yeah, we're covering him like he's still the president, so people will be mad at Trump instead of Joe Biden, and it gives us cover to stop covering issues that people actually care about, like out-of-control crime in cities like Milwaukee. Fox 6 reporter Aaron Maven.
Another morning, we are talking about violence in the city of Milwaukee, this time near Brady Street, a popular place where so many people gather. And just a few minutes ago, we got brand new information from the Milwaukee Police Department saying that 4 people were shot near Brady Street overnight. That includes a 29-year-old man, a 23-year-old man, and a 36-year-old woman. Those 3 are expected to survive, but Milwaukee police officers say a 28-year-old man is in grave condition right now after that overnight shooting.
Brady Street, of course, a popular Milwaukee night spot, just as Water Street is. Water Street, of course, over the summer was the site of a massive mass shooting in which, 18 people were shot? Fortunately, no one was killed in what we dubbed the gunfight at the Water Street Corral. It was the site of other incidents of violence, and that wasn't the only incident of extreme violence last night. Number of suspects opened fire at a Milwaukee police squad car and was killed. One person was a 40-year-old man when officers returned fire. This happened sort of nearby the Brady Street mass shooting. Near 33rd and Galena, 2 suspects are still on the run. The officers are with the Tactical Enforcement Unit, and there was a shot spotter alert for shots fired in the area of 33rd and Cherry near about 9 o'clock. Fox 6 reports when officers arrived in the area, gunshots struck their squad, nearly hitting the officers. The officers got out of the squad, engaged 3 suspects. At least one was armed with a handgun, and they discharged their service weapons. A handgun used by one of the suspects, which was equipped with a drum magazine, recovered from the scene. The 2 other suspects fled on foot. Police are still searching for them. Milwaukee Police Chief Greg Norman. I'm thinking of Live Golf here. Jeffrey Norman said in a press conference, neighborhoods like this don't deserve that type of violence. How about the officers who were just fired upon? Both of these shootings reveal something sadly familiar and sadly repetitive about crime in Milwaukee. It's the brazenness. It's the fact that nobody fears consequences. People just opening fire. It's open season on police officers. I never thought that violence could get more out of control than it was under Tom Barrett. But it appears that Mayor Cavalier Johnson, who wants to make sure these thugs are voting in his Milwaukee Votes 2022 initiative and doesn't care whether they're opening fire on police officers. This is a major problem here in the city of Milwaukee. All right. Whistleblower reached out to me yesterday to tell me about a weekly meeting at John Marshall High School in Milwaukee, in which staff members were told about gender inclusivity guidance. According to an outline that I was able to obtain of this meeting, this includes the acknowledgement of individuals' gender identity preferred names, gender identities, and pronouns. In other words, if a student comes to you as a teacher or staff member and says, I'm not Dan anymore, I'm Danielle, and you will address me as Z, Zer, and Zers, staff members have to go along with this, as well as a gender non-conforming dress code, the sorts of things that will and won't be allowed for students who express a different gender. There must also be access to gender-neutral restrooms. They're discussing responding to allegations of discrimination, bullying, or harassment. But here's where things get interesting. According to a PowerPoint presentation at this meeting on Monday, quote, school personnel must be mindful not to reveal, imply, or refer to a student's actual or perceived gender identity or gender expression when contacting parents or guardians when formal changes to official records have not been made. School personnel should be aware that involving parents or guardians without the permission of the student could lead to potentially harmful incidents, such as being kicked out of their home or being disowned. What this means is that John Marshall High School, according to its own guidance, according to guidance that was disseminated to staff members on Monday, staff members are not allowed, without the students' express permission, to tell their moms or dads or legal guardians if they're being a different gender, if they're identifying as a different gender at school. You might recall that in the Eau Claire Memorial School District back in spring, this actually made national headlines because people couldn't quite believe that this was, in fact, policy. Of course, parents have a right to know, even if a formal change hasn't been made. And what they mean by that is the student goes from checking the box as a male in official school records to female, for example, or non-conforming, or whatever other of the 58, 59 genders that you can now select on official government forms. This was a huge controversy because parents absolutely have a right to know what their student is doing, especially something as significant as identifying as a different gender. But the Eau Claire Memorial School District said, no, not only do parents have a right to know, parents could harm the child. And this apparently is what John Marshall High School is saying as well. I contacted the principal of Marshall High School and asked if he felt that this was appropriate. I have not yet heard a response. Now, this seems an awful lot like it is official Milwaukee School District guidance. I say it appears as though it is because the Milwaukee School District does not have publicly available its gender identity and inclusion guidance. On the gender and identity inclusion page at the MPS website, under the quick links section, you can go to the homepage. You can meet our team. There is, in fact, a gender and identity inclusion team at MPS. But yes, please tell me how MPS doesn't have way too much money, and tell me how we need more school district employees to work in the Office of Gender and Identity Inclusion. When it comes to LGBTQ plus resources, gender inclusion guidance, and the MPS non-discrimination policy, there is no hyperlink. Instead, you actually have to call a number or email the director of the Gender and Identity Inclusion Office, or whatever it is, in order to get a copy of this guidance. Why do you suppose that might be? Well, one could reasonably assume because this is very controversial stuff, the district might not want it widely known that it's not telling parents. But I was able to find guidance from October of 2016, meaning that this is, it would seem, been in place for a long time. The procedures for staff to guide conversations with student, staff, and or parents or guardians about a student who is transitioning or identifying as a different gender. For K through 5 students, kindergarten through 5th grade, parents or guardians will most likely be involved and may initiate the conversation. Students in grades 6 through 12 get permission from students before communicating with parents or guardians. Each individual should choose who is involved in conversations about their transition. In another section entitled Disclosure to Parents or Guardians, any change to the student's official record will require the permission of the student's parents or guardian. But school personnel should have conversations with students about the level of information they want shared with their parents or guardians for any change that is not a part of their official records. If they're just going to dress as a girl and identify as a girl and go, in my example from before, from Dan to Danielle while at school, but not want mom or dad to know about it, the school district seems duty-bound to respect this sort of privacy and keep parents or guardians in the dark. Just like the guidance that was presented to Marshall employees on Monday, this policy that dates from October of 2016 says, quote, school personnel must be mindful not to reveal, imply, or refer to a student's actual or perceived gender identity or gender expression when contacting parents or guardians when formal changes to official records have not been made. That is the exact language that was presented to Marshall High School personnel on Monday. So too was this. School personnel should be aware that involving parents or guardians without the permission of the student could lead to potentially harmful incidents such as being kicked out of their home or being disowned. So I reached out to the director of gender inclusion and, why do I keep saying this wrong? Gender and identity inclusion, and asked for a copy of the district's 2022-2023 gender and identity inclusion policy. We'll see how quickly they get back to me, but it does seem, based on my investigation, to be official Milwaukee School District policy not to inform parents, just like the Eau Claire Memorial School District, if their students are identifying as a different gender while at school. It's conservative thought, not just talk, on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass, which I've been recommending most highly for years because of their expertise, their professionalism, and above all, their customer service, which really sets them apart from pretty much every other body shop. But don't just take my word for it. Sarah says Mander was thorough, friendly, knowledgeable, and quick. Although you never want to have to use an auto body repair shop, I would absolutely recommend Mander. And whether it's body work, windshield repair, or car detailing, you'll get the same service Sarah got, guaranteed. You see, Mander is locally and family owned, so you're a person to them, not a number like you are to a national chain. And Mander now has 4 locations to serve you in Brookfield, Waukesha, Cedarburg, and Heartland. Start your repair today by visiting mandercollision.com and see why Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Let's be clear. No matter your age or fitness level, you're unique. Your fitness plan should be too. I'm Kevin Baker, owner of Fitness Together in Brookfield and Wauwatosa, where our personal training services focus on achieving your personal goals. Our certified team of trainers help our clients succeed where other workouts fail, because customized training programs mean so much more than just working out. Start thinking about a serious investment in your fitness and set up your consultation today at ftmke.com. That's ftmke.com.
Do you ever ask yourself, what's my purpose? Why am I just going through these motions? And when I die, what then?
Franklin Graham.
If you're searching for something more in life, the answer is God. You see, God gave His Son, Jesus Christ, to die on a cross for our sins and pay the penalty for our sins. Then God raised Jesus to life on the 3rd day. And if you'll trust your life to Jesus, He'll forgive your sins and give meaning to your life now and eternal life after you die. You can pray with me right now. Just say this prayer. God, I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I believe that Jesus is your Son. I want to trust Him as my Savior. I'm willing to follow Him as my Lord for the rest of my life. Amen.
Someone's ready to talk with you right now about beginning a relationship with Jesus. Call the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association prayer line. The number is 855-255-PRAY. That's 855-255-PRAY.
At Bachman Pools and Spas, we have 25 hot tubs on display.
Several models available for immediate delivery.
All new hot spring spas come with a revolutionary freshwater salt system for free.
That's a $1,200 value.
You owe it to yourself to experience soft, natural, healthy water.
Take advantage of special 0% interest for 60 months, plus get a free freshwater salt system.
Hurry in. This offer ends Monday the 19th. Relax. It's Bachman's.
Kathy Bergen is the Executive Assistant at Creative Community Living Services. Kathy, when you were looking for new document imaging support, why was a local company like James Imaging Systems so important?
I grew up in a small town. I appreciate that feeling of community, and so we're happy to support others that are members of that community.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner.
They handle all the behind-the-scenes work, and we need that. It was more of a partnership feel.
Kathy, what would you say to someone in a responsible position like yourself if they asked you to recommend a document imaging company?
James Imaging. I would definitely tell people to take a look at it and consider it in their decisions.
If you're looking for a local document imaging company, switch to Toshiba. Toshiba copier printers from James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. That's jamesimaging.com.
A Younger You Medical Spa in Burlington is rolling out the red carpet for you on Monday, September 19th from 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve your night out at ayoungeryou.com. That's right, A Younger You Medical Spa's annual red carpet event is back. Join A Younger You for a fun and casual party where you can get to know their team and learn about all the services they offer. Cool sculpting, fillers, neurotoxins, hydrofacials, microneedling, laser hair removal, and a lot more. All priced with the deepest discounts of the year at the red carpet event. RSVP today at ayoungeryou.com. Plus, A Younger You Medical Spa will introduce its new membership opportunity, full of wonderful benefits. The red carpet event includes exclusive event pricing, giveaways, food, and refreshments. Reserve your night out at ayoungeryou.com. You won't want to miss the red carpet event, Monday, September 19th from 4 to 7 p.m. in Burlington. RSVP today at ayoungeryou.com. ayoungeryou.com. One more time, that's ayoungeryou.com.
Identity theft shows no sign of slowing down. In fact, more than $14 billion stolen last year. That's a criminal success story and a wake-up call. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save 25% on their first year of protection with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. LifeLock.com, promo code BECK.
What possible reason could Milwaukee Public Schools have for not having their gender inclusion and identity guidelines online? Why would this be hidden? Why would this be something? Because it's so controversial. Because the idea that the state's largest school district not telling parents or guardians if their kids are identifying as a different gender at school is something that when it happened in Eau Claire, and yes, it's because Eau Claire isn't thought of as a liberal bastion like Milwaukee or Madison would be. But when Eau Claire did it, it was a national scandal. People couldn't believe, well, wait a second. If my kid is taking off his jeans and putting on a dress and going from George to Georgina and putting on lipstick and makeup and all of this, I'd want to know about this. Parents have a right to know what their kids are doing at school. If they're engaging in behavior that the parent could determine to be troublesome, or troubling, or perhaps evidence of some form of mental illness or some way. And think about it like this also. Let's say the parent is open and welcoming and inclusive, and the second that their 2-year-old starts playing with dolls and is a boy, they say, we need to get the gender reassignment surgery. Wouldn't they have a right to know that? This is yet more evidence that educators really do believe that parents have no role in the process, when in fact the Supreme Court has determined that parents do exercise a right of control over their kids' education. Time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
One of the absolute best Twitter accounts in the history of the platform, one of the greatest websites since Al Gore invented the internet, has got to be Libs of TikTok. The left is absolutely furious at a woman who previously worked in real estate. She's, I believe, in Brooklyn, somewhere in New York City. She's a Jewish woman who how do I know she's a Jewish woman? Because the totally not anti-Semitic left keeps telling me, oh, it's a Jewish woman who runs Libs of TikTok. She's spectacular. She is absolutely fantastic. And all she does is post, as the name would suggest, crazy libs on TikTok. For example, this young lady, who we're not identifying, we just want to make fun of how crazy it is that she truly believes white people are the reason she's fat.
If white people didn't come to the Indian subcontinent, then my ancestors would not go through 50 small, medium, large famines in a period of 200 years. That's a lot. And in 1943, nearly 3 million people would not have died due to starvation and malnutrition. And if that didn't happen, then this entire place and the people of this place would not adapt to survive on lower calories. We also wouldn't biologically be programmed to hold on to more fat, because my genes, they always think, okay, you're gonna die. At some point, there's gonna be
a famine. Yeah.
You will not have food and you're gonna die. I would also not be prone to diabetes, high blood pressure, heart diseases, and all that other things. So yeah, white people is the reason why I can't lose weight.
She's a woman of Indian descent who says because of the history of racism and colonialism on the Indian subcontinent, there were all these famines, and her ancestors developed a better ability to store fat, and that's why she's overweight. She's not blaming Big Macs. She's not blaming a sedentary lifestyle. She's blaming white people. That is just too hilarious.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
A shooting wounds 4. Good morning, I'm Terry Bell on News Talk 1130 WISN. 4 people were shot early this morning near Brady Street in Milwaukee. Fox 6 News reports one of them is in grave condition. Republican Tim Michels says he'll prioritize funding for Milwaukee law enforcement if he's elected Wisconsin governor.
We will put a priority on having enough monies available for law enforcement to reduce crime.
Michels is endorsed by the Milwaukee Police Union. Alex Jones's lawyer suggests Sandy Hook parents are exaggerating to push an anti-gun agenda. The InfoWars host is on trial to determine how much he has to pay in defamation damages. Checking the Drake and Associates sports scoreboard, the Brewers are at St. Louis tonight. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Terry Bell.
The news is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is a great time to take advantage of Pella's wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor. So maybe you have a room with white walls. Pella's expert installers will match it with the wood around the windows in that room, stain others to match the wood tones in another area of the house, and all with the superior craftsmanship that leaves no hassle or mess. Just perfect results that stand the test of time, and they have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. I mentioned it's a great time to take advantage because Pella is currently offering this incredible special. Put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. You can't beat that, so get started today at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit them at their beautiful showroom in Brookfield and online at PellaWI.com.
If years of watching football has provided you with piercing insight on what separates winners from losers, then the Mark Belling Football Contest is your gridiron cup of tea. Every Thursday, a contestant will pick a game against a spread or the over-under number. Winners get to spike the bowl of football brilliance while also snaring a $100 cash card.
The Mark Belling Football Contest is presented by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. Holiday Automotive. It's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Here's the Bryant Heating and Cooling forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Some patchy fog, mostly west of the city this morning, and then partly sunny and 76. Should be a little cooler lakeside with a northeast breeze. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy and 59, then 82 on Thursday and more sunshine. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Invisible Fence Brand's mission is to keep pets happy and safe with their forever families. Their exclusive technologies make their containment systems the most advanced on the market, giving your pet freedom to enjoy their yard and you confidence in their safety. Visit InvisibleFence.com to schedule your free consultation.
Are you struggling under the weight of state and federal tax debt? If your answer is yes, know that you're not alone. 1 in 40 Americans are struggling with tax debt. But at Alliance Tax Resolution Firm, we're in your corner. We understand that this can be a difficult problem to navigate, but we'll show you the way to relief. If you have more than $25,000 in tax debt, our tax attorneys and CPAs are ready to relieve you from your stress, because we know that resolution is possible. Call Alliance Tax Resolution Firm today to start toward a better future tomorrow. The first consultation with our experts is always free. We'll work directly with the IRS and state on your behalf to find a solution, and we guarantee there's no tax problem we can't solve. Call us today at 262-786-4442 or go online at AllianceTaxUSA.com because we've got your back. That's 262-786-4442 or AllianceTaxUSA.com.
These are the matchups you circle on your calendar. Be there for one of the season's biggest series, Brewers, Yankees. 3 games starting Friday, September 16th, featuring Cerveceros Night on Saturday the 17th. Get your seats now at at Brewers.com.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands.
No plumbing problem is too large or too small for S&K Pump and Plumbing Service Department. Their professional technicians can handle everything from faucet repair and drain cleaning to water heaters and garbage disposals, and then some. Whether it's repair or installation, they thrive on getting the job done neatly and efficiently. Call 262-784-HELP or visit SNKPump.com.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and for most all of us, here's the reality. Life happens, but when those moments occur, 2 words come to mind. Common sense. For nearly 90 years, Great Midwest Bank has made the home buying, building, renovation, and refinancing process straightforward, while too many others overthink and overdo. Our portfolio loans are GMB's not-so-best-kept secret. Apply online at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Snoring, sleep apnea, allergies. Dan O'Donnell here for Sinus and Snoring MD. We both know you're tired of sleeping on that couch. Choose the local ENT experts that'll treat you like family, unlike those big box clinics. Visit sinusandsnoringmd.com.
Identity theft shows no sign of slowing down. In fact, more than $14 billion stolen last year. That's a criminal success story and a wake-up call. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save 25% on their first year of protection with promo code BECK at lifelock.com. Lifelock.com, promo code BECK.
Saturday, it's the final tune-up before the Big Ten season when the Badgers host New Mexico State. Badgers game day begins at 10:30, kickoff at 2:30 on Milwaukee's home for the Badgers. 97.3 The Game.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
When you need to know what it all means, that's when you need us. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
I love this. Drudge Report headline, stocks stabilize. I'm not a big conspiracy guy. Not a big conspiracy guy. The one conspiracy I believe is that a shapeshifter has taken the identity of Matt Drudge and has completely changed the Drudge Report. It never ceases to amaze me. The stories that are ignored, the things that are promoted, it is like the Drudge Report has become a liberal site. It is, ever since the 2020 election, there was something that caused Drudge to turn on Trump, to turn on Republicans. It's like the Lincoln Project is now running the Drudge Report. It is amazing. I used to use the Drudge Report as show prep every day. I would go to the Drudge Report probably 8 times a day to get an update. It is unreadable right now. And Dave and I have been discussing for years now. Remember when he used to have on his site the self-congratulatory thanks a billion messages where you get 1 billion pages? Now it's down to about 400 or 500 million. There's a reason for that because I'm not the only one. Dan Bongino actually opened up the Bongino Report in direct response to Drudge's apparent left turn. Stocks stabilize. The stock market dropped 1,300 points yesterday. The Dow Jones Industrial. The NASDAQ lost 5% of its value. Already down significantly for the year. Stock stabilizing. The market is up 143 points right now. Stocks were spooked because of inflation. The inflation report The Consumer Price Index report that came out yesterday put inflation right back front and center as an election issue. Now, of course, the Democrats in the media don't want to talk about inflation. They want to talk about Donald Trump. They want to talk about anything other than inflation. I refer you to Alex Wagner on MSNBC.
It's almost like a recreation of the weather patterns when Trump was president, right? Vast numbers of Americans feel like basic freedoms are being infringed upon. And oh, by the way, Donald Trump is still in some ways, he's not the president of the United States. In his mind, he may be. But in terms of his dominance over the news cycle, the multiple swirling investigations have made him a figurehead in the Republican Party and in national politics.
Because he's the leader that we say he is. We want this to be a referendum on Trump, not a referendum on Joe Biden, not a referendum on the White House, on his policies, on the economy, on anything like that. So we're going to focus on Trump. We're going to focus on the January 6th commission hearings. We're going to focus on the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. We're going to focus on everything and anything. Abortion. Lindsey Graham with his stupid national 15-week abortion ban. That, of course, was the big topic of conversation, not inflation. But at the White House, you had a rather surreal scene with James Taylor serving as the opening act for Joe Biden. You think I'm kidding?
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne Clancy may put an end to you.
So, as the news channels are showing their Dow Watch Chiron, with the Dow plummeting 1,100, 1,200 points, you got James Taylor singing a song about a friend of his committing suicide. That's what Fire and Rain is about. The White House clearly thought that its Inflation Reduction Act was going to immediately reduce inflation. So they timed the public celebration at the White House. Pelosi was there, Chuck Schumer was there, Biden, of course, everybody was there. White House Rose Garden ceremony celebrating the Inflation Reduction Act. They specifically timed it to the day that the CPI index number would be released. Clearly, nobody anticipated such a disastrous reading. Inflation month to month went up 0.1%. Interestingly enough, the Congressional Budget Office, when it scored the Inflation Reduction Act, what did it say over the next 10 years? That inflation could actually go up 0.1%. Instead, it went 0.1% in a month. So you had a less than enthused crowd. Now, I, for one, am shocked that they weren't hyped up after listening to this banger of a song.
I've seen sunny days, I thought they'd never end.
It just makes you want to mosh and bang your head. I like this song, but it is sort of the definition of elevator music. So the crowd was not exactly enthused. So unenthused, in fact, that Nancy Pelosi actually had her own Jeb Bush please clap moment.
Mr. President, thank you for unifying and inspiring a vision of a stronger, fairer, safer future for all, for our children. Your extraordinary leadership has made this glorious day possible. That's an applause line.
Either she's really bad at giving speeches, or nobody, even at Biden's own event, wanted to applaud for Joe Biden's leadership. And she rather bizarrely, folks, I can't tell you how delicious this irony was that they're celebrating the Inflation Reduction Act on a day that inflation shockingly went up, even as gas prices went down. This means food prices, energy prices, rent, everything else other than gas, because they've been saying, well, gas prices have gone down for the longest continuous stretch since, 1992 or whatever, it might be 2015. But they're saying 15 straight weeks, gas prices have gone down. Gas prices have gone down. Look at what a great job that we've done on this. Pelosi clearly had this speech written for her before the inflation number came out, right? So she said, because of Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, because of the hard work we did, kitchen table items have gone down.
What a thrill it is to be here to celebrate this life-changing legislation, making the Inflation Reduction Act. Inflation Reduction Act, so beautifully named for all that it does. As the name suggests, this landmark law is cutting costs and inflation fighting and driving down costs for kitchen table items for America's working families.
Biden echoed this. Kitchen table items going down.
This bill cut costs for families, help reduce inflation at the kitchen table.
The food index increased by the greatest amount since 1979.
Just got to see through another day.
You know, now that I think about it, James Taylor really does make this devastating economic news way easier to take. Maybe that was the point. Biden's on the phone. Hey, James, we got some bad news. Didn't Kerry bring out James Taylor for like an Iran nuclear deal negotiation like 2014? Might have been. I don't know. James Taylor is like their go-to liberal crooner. And of course, he's a big environmentalist. And Biden, remember when the Inflation Reduction Act was passed? It's the amazing chameleon bill whose name changes depending on what Democrats want from it. It was the Inflation Reduction Act when they needed to pass it. And then immediately after it passed, the media was going, the sweeping climate change legislation. President Biden talked about that.
I want to take the most aggressive action ever to confront the climate crisis and increase our energy security. Ever in the whole world. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact.
That's a fact. So what did he do immediately after that ceremony? He hopped on Air Force One for a 1-hour trip to Delaware so that he could vote in the state's primary election. Instead of voting absentee, now it's not like President Biden, he's an absent-minded guy. He's a forgetful guy. I forgot to vote absentee. He's got an entire staff of thousands of people who take care of this stuff for him. So he hops on Air Force One, emits the amount of carbon dioxide that you or I would in probably 6 months for a 1-hour trip to Delaware. Yeah, the primary season did actually wrap up yesterday. The headline was in New Hampshire when the MAGA candidate Don Bolduc, a former brigadier general, defeated the more moderate Chuck Morse in the Senate primary. And this is a big one because Maggie Hassan out in New Hampshire is considered one of the most vulnerable incumbent Democrats in the entire country. And this is seen as a big-time pickup opportunity. Back in April, though, Republican polling showed that while Morse, who's more moderate, and New Hampshire, of course, is a more moderate, libertarian-leaning state. This isn't Alabama or Mississippi. This is not MAGA country, to quote Jussie Smollett. This is a more moderate area. The polling showed that Morse would beat Hassan by 2 points, while Bolduc, even in a big Republican year, would lose to Hassan by 1 point. What do you think Chuck Schumer's Democrat Senate Leadership Conference did? It spent $3.1 million in the primary boosting Bolduc. McConnell, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's PAC, spent $4.5 million on Morse. So McConnell wanted Morse playing the strategic game here. Morse lost. Why? Because he had $3.1 million in ad support from Democrats. Now, what are Democrats going to do? Chuck Schumer actually said during that ceremony yesterday that while Republicans are focused on their extremist MAGA agenda, we're providing results for the American people. At the same time, Schumer is calling MAGA Republicans extremist. Biden is calling them dangers and threats to democracy. You've got Democrats in both the House and the Senate spending millions and millions and millions of dollars, $50 million during the primary season, at the very least, boosting these same MAGA candidates that are supposed threats to democracy. This is about the most cynical, crass, nakedly political ploy I think you could possibly have. If these people, if Democrats really believe that the MAGA movement and Trump and people like Don Bolduc were really dangerous to democracy, why would they even risk the possibility that they get elected to the Senate or the House or a governorship or anything where they could have access to the levers of power and destroy democracy from within? Always look at Democrat actions. Don't pay attention to Democrat words, because Democrat words are pretty much worthless when Democrat actions constantly belie them. Speaking of Democrat words, though, Wisconsin Senate candidate Mandela Barnes, apparently in the name of climate change, wants to, quote, stymie capitalism. That next.
If you've named your dog Lombardi and have actually put yard lines on your lawn, you're a prime candidate to revel in Green Bay Grapevine before and after every game. Crafty reporter Mark Daniels tells Jay Weber and his Morning Drive audience all of the things lurking behind the curtain of green and gold.
Green Bay Grapevine is presented by Bob's Glass in Waukesha, specializing in glorious glass shower doors. If it's anything glass, think Bob's Glass. Bobs-glass.com.
Abbey Roofing. For 10 years we've been in business, we've been the underdog, competing with the big box stores, the franchises that come into our city, the chuck in the trucks, and the do-it-yourselfers that think roofing is just the shingle. I'm a local Milwaukeean that started this company the American way, from the ground up. We've been hearing for years, I want to do it once, I want it done right, and I don't want to do it again. Well, that's why our warranty is so strong, it's the last roof you'll ever put on your home. And when somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl. Call Abbey Windows today, 414-436-2229.
The Dan O'Donnell Cruise is going to Alaska. Join me next summer as we discover Anchorage, Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and Vancouver. Plus, scenic cruising in Hubbard Glacier and the Inside Passage will leave you smiling ear to ear. Couples, families, singles, you're all welcome. We're going to have a blast on the Celebrity Millennium, where there's literally something for everyone. Find out more at cruise-tour.com. That's cruise-tour.com.
Fall is in the air. You know what that means. Hi, this is Terry Lodwick, owner of All American Window and Door. It's time for football. Our favorite green and gold team wins championships with teamwork. Win your remodeling championship with Team All American. Replacing your windows, doors, or siding? We'll tackle your project and ensure a carefree remodeling victory. All American Window and Door on Mequon Road in Germantown. 262-255-7170. Estimates are free.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 866-57-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 866-57-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 866-57-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 866-57-STEEL. That's 866-577-8335. 866-57-STEEL.
According to the Washington Free Beacon, Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor and Democratic candidate Mandela Barnes argues that we need to stymie capitalism in order to combat the effects of climate change. We apparently paid to send Mandela to the UN Climate Change Conference in Spain back in 2019, and the Free Beacon obtained video of him answering a question about how it is that the world can combat climate change, specifically the United States. And Barnes's answer, well, it is vintage Mandela Barnes.
The reason why we're in this mess is pursuit of greed. Like it's capitalism run amok. That's why we're in this predicament now. It's the same reason why gun violence is so rampant in the United States of America. It's the same reason why we deal with all these other issues that have common sense solutions, but we can't seem to have a common sense approach. When you look at the halls of Congress, you look at state legislatures across the country, and you see where a lot of that financing is coming from, then you see why our efforts are always stalled to do the right thing. That's why it's so difficult for the right thing to happen or to get done. So the simple answer is get money out of politics. Second answer is stymie capitalism the way it is in America. And the third is to organize.
Of course. It's always to organize. We need to get out there, get into the streets, and protest for climate change. You might recall that Barnes's big project in the Evers administration was running the climate change task force. And part of this was going to Spain and talking about how we need to stymie capitalism. It's capitalism run amok. The reason that we have gun violence in America right now is because of capitalism run amok. Remember, this was before 2020 when we had the massive spike in gun violence that really hasn't abated over the past 2.5 years, really since the death of George Floyd and all of the defund the police movements across the country, including here in Wisconsin, that Barnes absolutely was behind, absolutely supported, repeatedly called for, even though now he's even running ads saying, I'll provide police with all of the support that they need. Do you know what this tells me? That he knows that the defund the police stuff is really hurting him. In a broader sense, if you're a Republican running for office and you are not hyper-focused on how Democrats have made neighborhoods and cities far more dangerous than they were before they took office, you are absolutely negligent. You are derelict in your duties as a candidate. The crime issue is one that everybody understands. It is out of control. In Milwaukee, we had a quadruple shooting near Brady Street. Brady Street is one of the nicer neighborhoods. It's a nightlife hub. There are a lot of great restaurants down there. Just like Water Street, you're seeing crime seep into areas that were always considered safe zones. For all of the former Mayor Tom Barrett's faults, he made sure that downtown, the East Side, the Third Ward, those were all safe areas. He saturated those areas with police patrols. He made sure that you wouldn't have crime because he understood that if people from the suburbs don't feel safe going downtown, that decimates the city's economy. Well, under Mayor Johnson, who I'm still not entirely sure, has he fully implemented his crime plan yet? Remember, we had to wait for that. If this is the implementation of his crime plan, man, oh man, I'd hate to see what happens if the mayor shifts gears. This is something that has been a massive problem. And this, along with inflation, are the issues that are actually reaching people. These are the issues that actually impact people. These are the issues that people vote on. And this is why for the past 4 months, the media and Democrats have had a concerted effort to talk about anything but. Ever since the draft opinion of Dobbs v. Jackson was leaked in May, Democrats put the abortion issue front and center. And the reason for this was, it was a major historic. I honestly never thought I'd live to see the day that Roe v. Wade was repealed, that it was overturned. But what the media understood was that the more the focus was on abortion, the more the focus was on an issue that Democrats feel that they are stronger on, the better off they would be. Once the passion over Roe sort of subsided, and I still don't think there are a lot of people who are going to vote based on abortion. I think this is a small subset of voters who are probably, if they're that upset about Roe v. Wade, they were already going to vote Democrat. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. It is backed up by polling. The overwhelming majority of people think the economy is by far the number one issue. Number two, generally speaking, is crime. When you have someone like Mandela Barnes saying, well, the big focus needs to be on climate change, and we need to actually undo the system of politics in order to get to our climate change-free utopia, which looks suspiciously like the world reverting to a third world Stone Age economy, pre-industrial civilization, and so forth. This is the sort of thing that gives people a whole lot of pause. Interestingly enough, speaking of Mandela Barnes, I was able to find some video of our old friend Mandela saying not only that the Wisconsin state park system is racist, but that you yourself are racist if you deny the parks are racist. The video recording is not that great. And this actually comes from the same video, the same event in August of 2020, where Barnes said the founding of America was, quote, awful. We had the story a couple of months ago. I actually went back and watched that video in its entirety again and said, oh, wait a second. It sparked my memory because we had a podcast that we were able to find where Barnes said the national park system was racist. Well, apparently so too is the state park system. Listen carefully because there's a lot of background noise.
We are blessed when it comes to natural resources. We're Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Mississippi River, all waterways in between. Wonderful, state park system. And we should be proud of that. Being proud of it means we should do everything we can do to protect it and also make sure it's accessible to communities as well. As we know, last year there was a reckoning over environmental organizations. Sierra Club, they owned up to their history, to their past, and they have pledged to do better. And even the state parks, they weren't built to be accessed by everyone. This was not for everybody to enjoy.
Even the state parks, they're not for everyone to enjoy. I made a mistake. That was not August of 2020. It was August of 2021, August of last year, not 2020. August of last year, he went in on the Sierra Club, the environmental group, which acknowledged its history of racism. And this has sort of been a common theme for Mandela, that parks were not set up for black people, that the park system itself is racist. Well, he went on and said, if you deny this, if you deny that there is systemic racism in America that touches even the state park system, you yourself are racist.
People who will just deny that systemic racism exists because they don't see it. And it is so wild to me, the people who would go as far as to say systemic racism doesn't exist. That's racist in and of itself, because you are totally denying somebody else's life, somebody else's lived experience.
He said, denying that systemic racism exists is racist in itself. This, too, is a common refrain from Mandela Barnes, who believes everything and anything is racist. You know the best way to stymie racism? You guessed it, stymie capitalism. We will do our best to do so as we play Guess What's Racist, America's favorite game show, coming up next. But we need your help. We are looking for a contestant, and we will take caller number 19 right now at 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476. Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass, which I've been recommending most highly for years because of their expertise, their professionalism, and above all, their customer service, which really sets them apart from pretty much every other body shop. But don't just take my word for it. Sarah says Mander was thorough, friendly, knowledgeable, and quick. Although you never want to have to use an auto body repair shop, I would absolutely recommend Mander. And whether it's body work, windshield repair, or car detailing, you'll get the same service Sarah got guaranteed. You see, Mander is locally and family owned, so you're a person to them, not a number like you are to a national chain. And Mander now has 4 locations to serve you in Brookfield, Waukesha, Cedarburg, and Heartland. Start your repair today by visiting mandercollision.com and see why Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Tom Nichols with Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols.
When running a closely held business, you need attorneys that will give you an honest, intelligent, and experienced evaluation of your legal situation, who have the willingness and ability to recognize and advise when spending legal fees will help you solve a problem, or just make it cost more. At Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols, we know we need to do this in order to retain clients for the life of their business. It's this difference between practicing a profession and selling a commodity that we feel defines our firm and sets us apart. High integrity and earned respect have been hallmarks of our firm for quite some time. We've been representing businesses here in Wisconsin for over 170 years. We'll make sure your business efficiently avoids legal problems and help make the law work for you.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols. MTFN.com.
It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell joined by the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, of course, the focus is on the CPI report. But Dave, really now the focus turns to what does the Fed do as a result?
That's exactly right. So that meeting on September 21st, when they will raise rates, just really a question of how much. Will it be 50 basis points, 75, or even 100 basis points? And when they raise rates, what do they say about it? Do they say post that meeting that we will become data dependent going forward to see how the inflation starts to react? Because raising rates clearly has an impact on the economy. Anecdotally, Dan, you can already see it in the real estate market, where real estate markets are starting to shift already. So there is an effect, and it is a lagging effect. And then the next meeting after that would be right in front of the election. So will they raise rates right before an election? These are a lot of questions that will have to be answered over the next 60 days. It will be interesting, and it will have a dramatic effect on how you should invest going forward. We think that you should work with a financial advisor that is fee only. Go to our website, annexwealth.com, and find that Know the Difference checklist and go down one by one, compare whom you're with today versus Annex Wealth Management.
And make sure that you're working with a fee-only fiduciary who's working with and for you. As Dave said, the best way to do that is with a free wealth metric. Think of it as a portfolio review at annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, the president and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Need a new roof this fall? Or maybe just some roof repairs before winter? We can help with that. Hi, Colleen here from Tri-County Contracting. We have been installing the best roofs for homeowners like you in southeast Wisconsin for over 40 years. Tri-County Contracting is here to solve any roof-related issues you may have, whether it's full replacement or repair. Our roofing experts will inspect your roof and have solutions for your home's specific needs. We offer lifetime product and lifetime workmanship warranties. On top of that, we will include our free yearly roof inspections, where we come back each year for product inspection and routine maintenance on your roof. No one has that but Tri-County Contracting. You can still get your roof installed this fall, but reach out to us today because our schedule is filling up quickly. Visit our showroom in New Berlin, look us up online, or call us at 262-679-6100 to set up a free, no-pressure estimate. Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs. Or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 14th. It's glow time. See Club for details.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. A reminder, the first ever Dan O'Donnell cruise next summer is going to Alaska. Juneau, Ketchikan, Anchorage, Skagway, the Inside Passage, beautiful nature, luxurious cruising. It is all there for you. We set sail in June of 2023, and we are looking for you to join us. I have always wanted to go to Alaska, and our friends at Cruise and Tour are making that possible. It is first class all the way. And the thing I love about cruises is that you could essentially make each day your own adventure. You could do as much or as little as you want, and they essentially will help you with all of it. The cruise line, our friends at Cruise and Tour, we have got a lot of people already signed up, but there is still room. Head to cruise-tour.com, cruise-tour.com for more information or to book your reservations right now. I can't wait to see you in Alaska, June of 2023. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to play America's favorite game show.
Guess What's Racist?
It is that time of the week where we ask you, our listeners, to help decide what previously benign, decidedly non-racist thing is now suddenly and without warning evidence of America's imperialism, colonialism, bigotry, and systemic racism. It's Guess What's Racist? I am your host, Dan O'Donnell, and today's contestant comes to us from Cudahy. He is Craig, and he is up right now on Guess What's Racist. Craig, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is all mine, sir. Are you aware of how to play Guess What's Racist?
Yes, I am.
All right, that's good. For those who aren't, I'm going to give Craig a list of 3 things. The 3 things are related in some way. They are not on their face racist in any way, but within the last couple of days, sometimes even within the last couple of hours, that's how quickly we work here on Guess What's Racist, one of those things has been derided as bigoted, as awful, as colonialist by a member of the media or a Democrat. Craig, are you ready to play?
Yes, I am.
All right. Guess what's racist, Craig? Not paying enough attention to Prince William, not paying enough attention to Prince Harry, or not paying enough attention to Meghan Markle.
I'm going to go with Meghan Markle.
That is correct. I'll fully admit that was an obvious one. A viral video shows Meghan briefly leaving her husband's side to greet mourners as they were lining the streets following the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. As she makes her way down the line of people, she comes to one woman who is shown dropping her head, deliberately ignoring Markle. The woman who ignored her and one of her friends can be seen on camera giggling after snubbing the the Duchess. Always an example of poise, Markle appeared to shrug and laugh off the incident, swiftly moving on to meet more mourners. But others also ignored Markle, turning their heads away from her and awkwardly adjusting their hair and clothes to avoid shaking the Duchess's hand. As if you couldn't tell by the phrase, always an example of poise, Markle appeared to shrug and laugh off the incident, The author concludes that this is the result of racism. The title of this piece that appears in Yahoo News, Racism on Full Display. British mourners give Meghan Markle the cold shoulder in viral video. The only reason that people might not like Meghan Markle is because she is half black, you see. It couldn't possibly because she gave an interview in which she torched the entire royal family in front of Oprah, and she accused the royal family of being racist, and people in Britain love the monarchy, and especially love Queen Elizabeth, and a whole lot of people sided with the late Queen in the dispute over Meghan Markle, and people see her as a spoiled, entitled brat who pulled Prince Harry away from her. No, it couldn't be any of that. Of course, it is racism. All right, Craig, great job on the first one. This one's a bit tougher, though. Guess what's racist? Arresting gangbangers, arresting drug dealers, or arresting carjackers?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with carjackers.
No, I'm sorry. The answer is arresting drug dealers. The San Francisco Public Defender's Office has accused a police officer of racially discriminating against Latino drug dealers in the city's Tenderloin neighborhoods. According to public defense attorneys for one of the neighborhood's alleged dealers, the officer arrested 53 people for drug sales over a roughly 2-year period, all of whom were Latino. Meanwhile, they claim he declined to arrest 43 other people who the police had detained or surveilled, all but 2 of whom were non-Latino. The kicker? The officer is Latino himself. His name is Sergeant Daniel Solorzano. He is of Mexican and Nicaraguan heritage. His first language is Spanish, and he is racist because he's arresting Latino drug dealers. All right, you're 1 for 2, Craig. Not too bad. If you were paying attention to the show, as I suspect you were, this one should be easy as well. Guess what's racist? State parks, state highways, or state waterways?
State parks, my friend.
You have got that 100% correct. According to Mandela Barnes, in video that we found from August of last year, he said during an appearance on the campaign trail, the state park system is racist. Dave, take down the music quite a bit because it's very difficult to hear what Barnes is saying.
We are blessed when it comes to natural resources. We're Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Mississippi River, all the waterways in between. Wonderful, state park system, and we should be proud of that. Being proud of it means we should do everything we can do to protect it, and also to make sure it's accessible to communities as well. As we know, last year there was a reckoning over environmental organizations. Sierra Club, they owned up to their history, to their past, and they have pledged to do better. And even the state parks, they weren't built to be accessed by everyone. This was not for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah, the state parks, even the state parks are not for everyone to enjoy. Barnes actually went on to say if you disagree with him, if you deny systemic racism, you too are racist. All right, 2 for 3. I'm feeling good about you, Craig, as we go into the next question. Guess what's racist? Making me fat, making me tired, or making me lazy?
I'm going to go with making me fat.
You got it. Craig, be honest. You are a loyal listener of the Dan O'Donnell Show, are you not?
I am.
You are. That means you probably heard our unhinged liberal of the day. I can't get enough of this. She is a woman on TikTok. She is overweight. She is of Indian descent. And she blames white people, specifically colonialism by the British Empire, that forced famines on her ancestors for her being fat. Her logic is truly something to behold.
If white people didn't come to the Indian subcontinent, then my ancestors would not go through 50 small, medium, large famines in a period of 200 years. That's a lot. And in 1943, nearly 3 million people would not have died due to starvation and malnutrition. And if that didn't happen, then this entire place and the people of this place would not adapt to survive on lower calories. We also wouldn't biologically be programmed to hold on to more fat, because my genes, they always think, okay, you're gonna die. At some point, there's gonna be a famine, you will not have food, and you're gonna die. I would also not be prone to diabetes, high blood pressure, heart diseases, and all that other things. So yeah, white people is the reason why I can't lose weight.
I'll tell you what, I've had some creative excuses for gaining some weight in my day. Well, it's the Christmas holidays. I packed on some pounds. Yeah, I'm drinking beer during the summer, so I added some. I never thought to blame white people for the fact that I had gained weight. All right, you are 3 for 4, Craig. Your final question. Guess what's racist? Playing hooky, playing school, or playing dead?
Playing dead, Dan.
You are correct. Do you have an idea where this is going, sir?
Kinda.
Kinda? The Emmys on Monday night featured a skit in which Jimmy Kimmel pretended to be dead. He played dead. He pretended to be passed out drunk in protest of the fact that for like the 15th straight year, he didn't win Best Talk Show Host. And Will Arnett of Arrested Development fame, he's been in a whole bunch of stuff, he dragged him out onto the stage while they were presenting the award for Best Writing in a Comedy Series. That's where you thought this was going, Craig? Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Not that direction.
Not that direction. All right. Well, hey, that was a lucky guess then. When it was announced that Quinta Brunson, who is a black woman, very, very talented woman, had won for her work on Abbott Elementary, which she directs and stars in and wrote for, Arnett attempted to push Kimmel out of the way, but Kimmel was still committed to the bit and didn't move. Brunson had to step over him and opened her speech by saying, "Wake up, Jimmy, I won." He didn't move, and she played along and said, "Okay, well, then you can hold my phone." It was a very funny little memorable bit, but people on social media and the media were not impressed. They said Kimmel stole Brunson's moment and, in fact, was racist in doing so. As one Twitter user put it, white people are the worst. If Quinta Brunson stepping over Jimmy Kimmel, who literally laid in her spotlight on the day she won an Emmy, isn't a metaphor for what it means to be a woman of color in a white man's world, I don't know what is. Yes, playing dead at the Emmys is racist. Congratulations, Craig. You went 4 for 5. A great round of Guess What's Racist. Thanks so much for playing. Thanks so much for being a loyal listener. Unfortunately, we don't have a physical prize for you, but the metaphysical prize is far greater. You, sir, are now far more aware than you were just 10 minutes ago of how you personally contribute to America's systemic racism. So congratulations. Thanks for playing, Craig.
Thanks, Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist?
If you've named your dog Lombardi and have actually put yard lines on your lawn, you're a prime candidate to revel in Green Bay Grapevine. Before and after every game, crafty reporter Mark Daniels tells Jay Weber and his Morning Drive audience all of the things lurking behind the curtain of green and gold.
Green Bay Grapevine is presented by Bob's Glass in Waukesha, specializing in glorious glass shower doors. If it's anything glass, think Bob's Glass. Bobs-glass.com.
Dan O'Donnell here. If you own a business, it's been a bumpy ride from the pandemic to inflation. I'm sure you could use a break. Well, if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. This isn't a loan. There's no payback. It's a refund of your taxes, but the challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape and get your business the refund it deserves? Go to getrefunds.com. Their team of tax attorneys they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses. They can help you too. They do all the work with no charge up front and simply share a percentage of the cash that they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify. To find out if your business does, just go to getrefunds.com. Click on Qualify Me and answer a few questions. Go to getrefunds.com.
You may think at first that the Norwegian forest cat is just another fluffy feline, but its coat is windproof and waterproof. You might also think that just being able to fix furnaces and ACs will get you a gig anywhere. But just like the Norwegian forest cat, Team Austin is a bit of a different breed. Hey there, I'm Eric Smith with Austin Plumbing, Heating and Air, where we're excited to add another furnace and AC guru to our team. But not just anyone. We need a good fit within our team. A bunch of hardworking, dedicated, family-focused, drama-free people with positive attitudes. You'll learn and grow how to be something more than a technician, a heating and air guru. Average length of employment here is over 11 years. That doesn't happen by accident on either party. If you want to find out what our secret sauce is here at Team Austin, what makes us a different breed of cat, I invite you to apply. Drag and drop your resume to us online. All inquiries are strictly between us. That website is teamaustin.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at CertaPro Painters who give you the power of pro, just like they gave me when they repainted my home's exterior. It looks like a brand new house, and I cannot recommend them highly enough for your home or business. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, the power of pro. Schedule your free estimate now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com.
D&M and Carrier are excited to offer up to $1,025 in cool cash rebates on the top-rated Infinity furnaces and air conditioners, with options to help your home air quality, give you the best and easiest control with Wi-Fi, and much, much more. Don't wait to improve your comfort. These rebates start today and end November 19th. Call today, 414-281-5350, or visit us at dmheating.com.
D&M at your service.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and D&M Heating.
Hi, Larry Elder here. I never really thought much about how aches and pains can reduce a person's quality of life until pain started keeping me from living my best life. Just a few years ago, using the stairs was difficult because of the back pain. Then I found Relief Factor, a 100% drug-free solution for aches and pains. Within a week, I was on my way back to being pain-free. Now I have my life back. I take Relief Factor every single day. Relief Factor can help your body fight the inflammation that causes joint and muscle pain and the other aches and pains that come with everyday life. Treat yourself to feeling better. Move more, live more, and just enjoy your life more with Relief Factor. Join me and more than 500,000 others. Get started today with your 3-week quick start for only $19.95. About 70% go on to order more because it works for them. Go to ReliefFactor.com to order now. That's ReliefFactor.com. Feel the difference with Relief Factor. ReliefFactor.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Here's what some people at the big networks and big newspapers don't understand. That you're smart and that you want to be talked with, not talked at. At WISN Radio, one of the reasons we exist is to find out exactly what you think. News Talk 1130 WISN, where your opinion counts.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Brett Favre is looking like he's in a little bit of trouble here. You might remember the scandal over diverting money that was set aside for Mississippi's impoverished residents actually going to Favre in the form of speaking fees. Newly unearthed texts obtained by Mississippi Today show that Favre was at least aware that some of the money was not going to the proper channels. He wanted a volleyball stadium built while his daughter was playing volleyball at Southern Mississippi University, and he was texting back and forth with Nancy New, who's a disgraced nonprofit executive who has pled guilty to 13 felony counts relating to that scandal in which $77 million in funds from the Federal Temporary Assistance for Needy Families were improperly siphoned elsewhere in Mississippi. Now, it was always reported that Favre didn't really know what was going on. These texts directly contradict that. Favre, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? No, we never have had that information publicized. I understand you being uneasy about that, though. Let's see what happens on Monday with the conversation with some of the folks at Southern. Maybe it will click with them. Hopefully. Okay, thanks. New. Wow. I just got off, this is the next day. Wow, I just got off the phone with Phil Bryant. He was the governor. He is on board with us in the plan to build the volleyball arena. We will get this done. Favre, awesome. I needed to hear that for sure. Now, this doesn't directly implicate Favre in criminal wrongdoing, but it does suggest that he knew this money was not to be earmarked for that. We'll have to leave it there. Dan O'Donnell Show done for today. We will talk to you tomorrow.